We start our journey on Christmas Eve in a department store that you'd expect in the 50s or 60s. They have toy trains in the front and all that good stuff. Kids gathered there laughing with the hopes of St. Nick possibly coming to bring them that toy train set. Oh, but we see that Santa may be late. Sitting at a nearby speakeasy is Henry Corwin, costume as Santa Claus, dropping down a few holiday spirits. So we now understand that the man playing Santa Claus is a drunk. But we also learned that 6 drinks and a sandwich cost less than $4. Imagine that. Kids see him and he shows his love for them by hiding his drinking. What a guy. He even tries to steal a bottle from the bar at one point. The drunken Santa heads to work into fake snow where 2 children see Santa Claus and of course are excited to tell them what they want. This is the first time we see Henry Corwin, the man playing Santa Claus, show his true colors towards children and his love for them and their needs. Henry shows up at the department store and is reprimanded by store manager Mr. Dundee because Henry is not only late, but he's also drunk, which is highly frowned upon by your boss. Take note of that, everybody. He takes on the first kid and stumbles out of his chair and falls drunkenly. Henry is fired by Mr. Dundee, of course. He's called a drunk, but yet he owns it and thanks Mr. Dundee for the opportunity and states wholeheartedly that at this time he has 2 options in life. He can only drink or weep, but drinking is so much more subtle. On his way of being escorted out of the department store, Henry Corwin delivers a very heartfelt speech. Let's face it, this guy loves Christmas. He has a problem, and there is a reason for his problem. Stating that his only wish is to have enough gifts to give all the poor children just for one night. Henry stumbles home and realizes he has a few bucks to go into that local bar again, just to be turned away by the bartender. But he hears sleigh bells from a far distance and spots a bag filled with gifts. He throws that bag over his shoulder and heads yelling for the children to come get these gifts. An enthusiastic older man busts into what I believe is a homeless shelter or possibly an AA group during a mass of some sorts and tells them Santa Claus himself is coming around the corner right now. Henry busts in the door with his sack full of gifts that people want or wish for as he hands them out. Henry tells the woman running the place that she has no idea, and he has no idea as well, what is going on. All he knows is that he's giving out as much as they're putting in this sack. The woman running this meeting leaves and comes back with a police officer who believes that an admittedly drunken man in a Santa Claus costume has probably stolen these items and of course asks for his receipts of these goods. Henry ends up in the police station with the officer and of course Mr. Dundee shows up just hoping that Henry goes to prison for some reason. Mr. Dundee and the police officer think that Henry is a criminal mastermind dressed in a Santa Claus suit. Mr. Dundee reaches his hand into the bag to prove this, only to pull out canned goods and an alley cat. Mr. Dundee is then very upset that the officer doesn't arrest Henry right away, but this officer's confused and truly believes they're dealing with something of the supernatural. So before leaving, Mr. Dundee asks for a ridiculous item for Henry to provide out of his bag, a cherry brandy 1903, and Henry produces his demand. Mr. Dundee receives the bottle in shock and awe as Henry throws his bag over his shoulder and heads to hand out the toys to the kids, something that he's always wished to do. His sack is finally empty after he delivers all the toys that he could to the children. He reveals to his friend on the stoop that this is the only gift he has ever wanted, and then wishes that he could do this same gift, being a gift giver every year. Walking away alone and confused about this situation, he heads off into an alley and finds a sleigh with reindeer leading. An elf jumps out from the background and calls him Santa Claus and states that they've been waiting quite a while for him. A confused Henry Corwin takes his seat on the sleigh to assume his new position as Santa Claus and takes off. A drunk Mr. Dundee walks out of that police station to hear the sleigh bells, driven by Henry Corwin, aka Santa Claus, flying above and admitting that he has seen a Christmas miracle. Well, ho, 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 Doc Wagner. Merry Christmas, happy holidays, whatever it is you celebrate. It's that time of year. And Doc, when you came to me with this, saying we should do this right off the bat, because if you've been following along, this is really, really early in our show starting. Night of the
Yes.
Meek. Night
Yeah.
of the Meek.
And of course, we had to do it's Christmas time. It's a Christmas episode. There's a few other Christmas episodes, but this is the most uplifting one in the Twilight Zone, obviously.
Yeah, so we jumped a little bit ahead, obviously, in our order, but we're going to do them all anyway, Doc. So, it's all going to be good. But this is
Special bonus material, right? It's
absolutely the bonus material. Here it is for all you fine folks out there watching. Night of the Meek. I would say that was fun because it was. I mean, talk about feel good.
amazing. I mean, let's start where we always start. Let's get into the actors.
Let us delve into the realm of these performers, exploring their talents and unraveling their intricacies on this stage of shadows and light.
Do it. Let me know who these people are. I know who they are, but let's go into it, Doc.
But do you? Art Carney, of course.
Hello, Ball. That's all I have to say.
Honeymooners. And we have another Oscar winner, Harry and Tonto.
You dumb son of a... He has girl troubles.
When did you last sleep with a woman? Saturday night, March 1951.
He won that Oscar. And did you know that Art Carney played a Batman villain? He was the Archer in 2 episodes.
Really?
Not the best villain. And I don't know if I know they make the Batman movies these days. I don't think they're going to have the Archer, but he was a Batman villain. And the most obscure thing that I saw that he was in was he was in a video with Michael Jackson and Paul McCartney. He was in the Say, Say, Say video.
No way. I used to love that song. By the way,
Yeah.
I love that video. And they were the snake oil salesmen.
Huh? Yeah. He,
yeah.
and
was he the original snake oil salesman in that?
I think he was. I'm
going to pull up that clip, by the way.
He was also in the much talked about Star Wars Christmas episode as well.
The one that's no one can see, that you can't find.
No, I think it's out there on YouTube. But it's not really worth seeing. But
Donnie and Marie Osmond one? That one?
That one I don't know. No, it's got
the Star Wars one, right?
It's got the Star Wars people, and I'm not a big Star Wars guy.
Chewbacca's family and everything.
It's like Chewbacca and the Luke Skywalker.
Yeah, you were like 18 when that came out, Doc, right?
70s. Yeah. But I go obscure. I try to go obscure for you.
That is well. You know what? What a fantastic actor!
Of course, he was in the Honeymooners. Everybody knows that. But who's telling you that he's in the Say, Say, Say video?
That's right. Only you. You and Paul McCartney are the only ones that know that actually right now.
And Mr. Dundee, John Fielder, his voice is very familiar because he was the voice of Piglet in Winnie the Pooh.
Whoa, that's right.
Oh dear, I was just never mind. I'm sorry.
Okay,
and man, again, character actor. This guy was all over TV and movies in the 50s through the 70s. 12 Angry Men, which talk about an episode that we could do. We could do a mini series on 12 Angry Men, and the original one I'm talking about. He was also, of course, in The Odd Couple. Cheers. Can you believe that?
Yeah, well, yes.
One of your favorites, Quincy. He had an episode, but guess what? He also was in some Alfred Hitchcock Presents.
No way.
Yeah, all over the place. All over the place. Bob Newhart show. One more thing. He was in an episode of Columbo.
No,
That's what they tell me.
of course. Of course. Everybody out there, if you're just tuning in right now, you're going to learn, and hopefully you watch more, that Doc will mention 3 things, and it's Columbo, Alfred Hitchcock Presents, and I think Quincy's going to sneak up on that chart pretty
The
soon.
Quincy's just because of you, Buck. I know Klugman. And we got to talk about Klugman one of these days, but I know Klugman was one of your heroes.
Yes.
So those are the two main actors, and I'm going to have you lead off on this one. We're filming this currently. It's Christmas season. We're filming this a couple days before Christmas, 2024. Who are your stars?
Ready with the shot, Mr. DeMille.
All right.
My stars, Doc. I believe I'll go with Henry right away. So we'll go big dog in it right away. And I feel like I'm going to go a little bit mainstream, kind of mainstream, I guess.
Oh.
Speaking of Batman, I'm going to go with a Batman. And it's not Michael Keaton, Doc, so don't worry about that. How about Ben Affleck? Ben Affleck, I mean, I get it, the boozer and everything he's doing right there. And, Ben Affleck's had his troubles and things like that. But other than that, maybe it's a makeup call for reindeer games. Possibly I'm doing this for him.
Sure.
But I think Ben Affleck is a solid, really good actor that I think would be very good in this.
He was on my short list.
Okay, see, so and obviously the way back that he did that movie that we'll get into in a little bit. But it's more like I just think he's really good. He's kind of at that age now that he could play that part.
Sure.
And I think he's very underrated. I really do. I know people are going to probably maybe get on me about that, but I think he's a great director. And I think he's a very, very, very solid actor. I mean, when he played George Reeves, right?
He did.
Hollywoodland.
Hollywoodland. Oh,
Fantastic.
that's a very underrated movie.
Yes, and Goodwill Hunting is, I mean, that's right in my timepiece. It's where I'm from, basically. And it reminded me of me and my friends, if you minus a genius in the bunch, and it would have been us.
I got a number. How do you like them apples?
You were the other end of the spectrum.
Yeah, it was a bunch of derelicts without a genius hanging around. But if we had one, we would act it just like them. I swear. So Ben Affleck, I'd like to see him get a shot at this. I think he's solid. I think Art Carney, in a sense, was not typecast, but not the same type of actor, obviously, going from A to B as Ben Affleck, being the heartthrob afterwards and doing some silly things. But Ben Affleck, I'm going with Henry Corwin. Now, Mr. Dundee, I'm pulling somebody out of retirement, but I do believe he's still alive, Doc. I have a problem with that sometimes, and I do like to pick people that aren't. I'm pulling somebody out of retirement. I'm pulling Rick Moranis out of retirement. Rick Moranis, how good
he is still with us.
I know he is. Yes, he retired, I believe, because I think his wife, something happened to his wife, passed away or something like that. He retired, wanted to raise his family, and yeah, good for him.
Good for him.
But if I could, I'd like to get Rick Moranis. If anybody
has
remembers,
a little bit of a comedy element to it. I love that. Just a little bit, just a hair towards
just
the
a
end.
Tiny bit. Honey, I Shrunk the Kids. More than,
Moranis could definitely pull that off.
Yeah, Rick Moranis. Now, Doc, we talked about. You told me you did 2 actors. You did already, and I'll give that away. And I did do a third. You didn't tell me who the actors were. We don't talk about that.
Yeah,
but I'm going to give you a third on the cop. How about Ken Marino? How good? If you remember Ken Marino, Party Down, one of my favorite.
Year 2020 is going to be the best year of my life. Damn it.
Shows. How good would Ken Marino be as that cop? Come on. I mean, Let's get him there. Ken Marino.
That I like that. I like that. No, and I only told you the two main actors with the stars, but yeah, let me tell you who I have. Three very diverse actors. I'm gonna go. I'm gonna start with the cop, and then I'm gonna go up to Henry. Uh, William H. Macy. I think if you fly him in for an afternoon, the cop had a few scenes, and he's in and he's out, and he can play the just that cadence, just that perfect. Hey, let's when he takes the bottle with Dundee, just kind of hey, let's just this is what we're gonna do. This is where we're just gonna hang out. I think that William H. Macy could pull off the affable cop, obviously, from all of his roles that we've
William
seen.
H. Macy. There's another one. Boy, talk about you're gonna have to go to that well a couple of times because
Yes.
that's a solid one.
Yes.
That's
Yeah.
you guys should put William H. Macy in each one of these parts, by the way.
Easy.
I do believe that's true. Yeah.
I have a and I love going across the pond. For Mr. Dundee, going with Toby Jones. Toby Jones is man, he's been in a lot. He actually played Hitchcock, believe it or not, in a movie called The Girl.
I know I've put you through some hard times. Look at you now.
So there you go. But recently watched A Boy Who Called Christmas, and which led me to think. I just watched it the other night. I'm like, he'd be a great Dundee. He's been all over the place. Toby Jones has Tinker Tailor Soldier Spy, My Week with Marilyn, and I think he could play that well perfectly. And now, drum roll, please, for Henry Corwin.
All right.
I think you interested to get your reaction on this one.
Mhm.
Eric Roberts. We've seen Eric Roberts for years, and the king of the B movies. He had, I think, it very self-admittedly struggles with alcohol, substances, possibly, and could put his heart and soul into this role. And from all accounts, he's just a really decent, kind of cool dude. And just I think he would chew up the dialogue that Rod Serling wrote for him and just get into that role.
Yes, and I know Eric Roberts. I worked with Eric Roberts, and Eric and I were very friendly. I wouldn't say we're not now. We just don't really talk. Not that anything ever happened between us, but we were very friendly when we were together on set. And first off and foremost, actually, Eric Roberts is a stud. Eric Roberts, I grew up. It was weird actually working with him, sitting there. We shared transportation during a movie, which is funny because we had to like get it signed off on and everything because he wanted to ride with me and we would just talk. And Eric's been sober for a very long time now. He was sober then when I met him. That was a while ago. So I'm going with he's unless something happened that I don't know about. He's years and years in sobriety. But Eric knows that life, obviously, and he's so good. He's so good. Quick story, maybe I still have the picture and I'll put it up if I do about that. I have a bunch of Eric Roberts stories, but I'll tell you one. Uh, my mother's a big Eric Roberts fan. So it was weird when I was working with him and I said to Eric, I told him finally, we were probably working together for a few days and been pretty close. And I said, I got to tell you, Eric, my mother's a big, big fan of yours. And, he goes, hey, let's call her. And I was like, really? And he goes, yeah, let's call her on the phone. That'd be cool, right? And then there only being my mother answers the phone and he's on it. I call from my phone. Obviously, she answers like, what do you want? And hey,
I'm surprised she answered.
Yeah. Hey, it's Eric Roberts. I'm with your son right now. And she's like, yeah, all right. He's like, no, it's Eric Roberts. And he's talking for a little bit. And she's like, oh, wow. All right. And of course he goes, being the guy he is, goes on to tell her what a great person I am, how I'm so talented and all this. Well, of course he's gonna say that. He's talking to my mother. He's trying to be nice. And she's just like, yeah, whatever. Enough about him and whatever. Eric, I think you're the most underrated actor around. Now, when you're called underrated, sometimes you take that well, but you could also take it like, I don't think I'm underrated. I think I've been nominated for an Oscar. I think whatever. But anyway, he took it well. And yeah, that was a
Good.
quick story about that Eric Roberts. And we have a picture we took afterwards. I don't know if I have it. I'll try to find it. And yeah, it's him. And he said, take a picture now. He's like, take a picture with your phone. And I gave somebody my phone. He goes, and I'll go on my phone and act like I'm talking to your mom at the same time. I'm like, well, but it's my phone's taking anyway. But that was Eric. And I have a few more stories about him that maybe I'll break out some other time.
Yeah.
But Eric's a cool guy. And I think it's a good call. It's a good call because he's fantastic. He's just
Yeah, he could
so comfortable.
do anything.
He weirdly hums when he goes into his things. I don't know that weird fun fact. He's always like and does this weird thing, and he goes into his scene like that. He's almost like I don't know, but yeah, I mean, I think that's a great call. I think Eric Roberts would be fantastic.
Got to top yours. It's tough to top yours.
Yeah, no, I think Eric Roberts. That's
try.
a good one. That's a good one.
Cool. Well, now it's my favorite time. I like
fun facts.
I love fun facts. You know, I love my fun facts.
Fun fact: I was rejected from Scientology. So,
and let's just jump right in with both feet. This episode was actually aired on the 23rd of December, 1960, just 2 days before Christmas. And if you notice this, and we will get into it as we get into the further episodes, you notice something a little bit different about this episode, how it was filmed. It was filmed on 16 millimeter. And they tried to save money. Each episode at the time cost about $65,000. And they were going over budget. It was a failed experiment. They only, the producers only did it for 6 episodes of the Twilight Zone. But I think because it was shot on the 16 millimeter, it adds a little bit to this episode with the snow and just the outdoor scenes. It almost, I think it adds to it. A lot of people disagree with that, but that's just me personally.
Well, I think it's because it's a Christmas show and people expected this and it to make it grittier, right? You know, to make it real. I would say that must be why they have the problem with it. Especially think of back then. Now we'd be a little more accepting of a gritty Christmas thing. Because it wasn't this, happy till the very end. It really wasn't. It was a bad place.
No. And Rod Serling gets his ideas everywhere. You know where he got this one? Went to a Christmas parade with his kids, and he said something and I'm paraphrasing, that he saw the Santa Claus that was leading the parade, and he must have been like a 4th or 5th stringer. He was rail thin, and his suit was dragged out. Looked like his suit was dragged out of a canal, and that is a direct quote. And then it suddenly came to me that there was a story in there somewhere that this traggled down Kris Kringle was actually the real Santa Claus. And that's how much of a genius this man was. That from seeing this 3rd string, 4th string Santa Claus wrote this excellent episode.
Simplicity. I'm sure there's people out there with a creative mind, and most people, but when you have a creative mind, like think about walking when you go to the mall. Like I remember when I was younger, and they teach you this as an actor as well. It's like you look at everybody and you tell their story in your head. And Rod Serling was just really good at it, like the simplicity of it, even. And you look at that person, you're like, what was his day like? What did he do?
Minutia. It's minutia to most people, but it's to him. He picks everything up, and we're in the Christmas theme. Did you know that Rod Serling wrote a 1964 TV movie called A Carol for Another Christmas? I watched it. I didn't know about it until I started researching for this episode. And it's on YouTube. It's a modern retelling of A Christmas Carol. Get a load of this cast. Sterling Hayden, Godfather. Eva Marie Saint, Hitchcock, North by Northwest. Robert Shaw.
We know where
Come
he's
on,
from.
Charles.
Oh, boy.
And one of your heroes, Peter Sellers. It's on YouTube.
Yeah.
It's not the best, but it's a really good. It's free. It's on the YouTube. As long as we're talking about lost classics, I think it was like somewhere between 49 and 51. Serling wrote another Christmas radio play. Never got produced. It was called No Christmas This Year. It told a tale that where Christmas was pretty much ending, the elves were on strike, and Santa Claus gets Santa gets shot down. Santa gets shot down as he's flying over Palestine. It sounds amazing. It sounds so good, and it was never produced. And yeah. So that's that about the fun facts, and I had to go in a little bit other direction when I found out a couple of these other episodes, that the Christmas themed episodes that are out there that are not necessarily in the mainstream.
We did lose Rod Serling way too early. We don't get into that.
Would have been 100 years old on Christmas Day.
Yeah, but think about say till he was 75. 25 years ago, we were still doing stuff.
Yeah,
like, man.
I know. It's damn cigarettes. But yeah, would have been 100 years old. Just December 25th, 2024. Happy birthday, Ron.
Yeah, that's right. It is a Christmas episode. I didn't even think of that. Happy birthday, Ron. Absolutely. 100 this year. 24.
Yes, sir.
All right. Huh. Amazing. Is that all for the fun facts, Doc?
It's all the fun facts. Maybe we'll put some out there on a YouTube short or something, because there's I got so many more fun facts, but let's go on.
All right. Sounds good. Now, one of the fun things we always like to talk about, Doc, and I'm going to maybe jump around a little bit. I don't know. We haven't really decided an order on this yet, but I think we go best scene next, don't we? Yeah. All right. Well, we'll do symbolism. How about that?
Whatever you want to do. Whatever you want to do.
We'll do symbolism. All right. Merry Christmas, everybody. Symbolism. That's right. Ho, ho, ho.
Symbolism is just too delicious.
Why don't you start me off, Doc, with your symbolism?
I mean, it's handed to us: redemption, loss, loneliness, charity. I think it's such a wholesome episode that.
Well, enough about you, Doc. What about the movie, the show? Go ahead. I'm sorry.
And how about this? I mean, to see magic, to believe in magic, you got to see magic, and that's what Henry Corwin did.
Absolutely. I'm going to go with one. I'm going to give you a symbol that I think happens during it. You know me. I get these weird things and stuck in my head. Rod looks at that person dragged out of the canal, then sees a suit and sees something weird about it. I'm trying to get into that big brain of Rod Serling, because I do think he did certain things for a reason. And I really watch these things trying to be like, I know he's trying to make a point with this little thing. The alcohol. Remember, he goes into the thing and you can hear somebody say when he starts giving out at the police station, it's the police station, right? Yeah. The toys, or not toys, the gifts for the people. You hear somebody ask for a red wine. You can actually hear it.
Oh, yeah. Well, yeah, I think that was at like the charity, the homeless shelter, Salvation
homeless
Army.
shelter. That's what it was. Yes. So when he's at the homeless shelter, Santa, he's at the homeless shelter. they were asking for the red wine, and you can hear that, and he's doing what thing, and so he sees that broken down old man, and he pulls out a cane. So how about the cane being the crutch, which is alcohol for these people? That's what I'm going with my symbolism. I'm going with alcohol being a crutch for him. Obviously, he says it. He's a good guy. He's a good man. That's why he became Santa. He talks about it. Why he drinks is because he's this. He needs something. He needs something to lean on. And the cane. 2 people ask for canes, if you notice. One person does, and then he shows it in a big extreme thing. Here's your crutch. Now you can walk through without a limp, which would be him walking through those kids.
You're getting in. I think you're getting in there. I
like that. We're trying to be in the same place. But yeah, but on that, with the symbol, he's a good guy. And I think we do see symbolism of him being a good guy. I really do. He's not a bad, like even when you notice a little subtle thing, when the kids are in the window in the beginning, you notice he moves on his chair and does the drink so the kids can't see him.
So he can't see them.
Very subtle, tells a story. Once again, that's direction. That's the director. That's the writer. That's smart.
He loves the kids.
He does. He almost
when he breaks down, like, oh my God, when he breaks down when, oh, well, I just want a job for my daddy for Christmas. And when he just, oh my God.
Kid asked for a gun right off the bat.
Well, there is that.
He did ask for a gun. But I'm going to say also, and I didn't mention this with the actors when you talked about him, I think this is one of the best acting performances in the Twilight Zone. I really do. I think he is amazing. His monologues, his facial expressions, how he even deals with the bartender. I don't think his dialogue was like that. I don't want to say dialogue wasn't that strong, but it wasn't like he made the most out of some simple dialogue, is what I'm trying to say.
When the camera pans to him, I believe it's twice, and you hear again, we're talking about the score. You hear the jingle bells, and he captures his face, kind of like, what's going on? Something's happening. And yeah, that again, no words. It's the facial expressions.
Physical
and how
comedy.
Our Carney did not get nominated for an Emmy for this particular episode is a travesty.
I agree. And he's going to go on mine because we're going to talk about like our best actors, I think, from seasons. This is season 2, and I can't imagine somebody beating him. I just think, just rewatch it and look at, he is somebody who told the story. Obviously, the Honeymooners told the story with his face, his actions,
sure. Yeah.
And he evolved to, I think he's amazing in it. I really do. And I haven't watched in a long time. And I don't think I expected that much out of him in a sense. And boy, was he amazing. I forgot what a good actor he was.
So yeah, and this is a yearly tradition in the Doc Wagner household, as you can imagine, around Christmas time. Watch this one. 5 Characters in Search of an Exit is also not necessarily an uplifting Christmas episode, but it's a Christmas episode nonetheless. But yeah, back to Art Carney. Interesting. Maybe we can do some comparisons. Maybe after season 2, we'll see what happens.
Yeah, absolutely. So those are symbolism. Like I said, I'm always reaching, and I always see something. I'm like, oh, just because I know Rod Serling's like that guy. Something is in there. They probably just never told anybody. It's not in the book.
I think the crutch is very unique. I like that.
Yeah. So now let's go to influences.
Genetic, hormonal, and environmental influences.
What do you think? I mean, we obviously can go to Christmas movies. And
it's almost scene for scene in the department store. Bad Santa. That's a gimme.
Is that your underwear?
Part of it.
Where the hell's the rest of it?
But I'm going to take it because The Bad Santa is an excellent movie. Billy Bob Thornton is amazing, and that would have been a cheat if you said Billy Bob Thornton
Yeah,
for
but we would, yeah.
in this year. But the department store where he kind of trips, it happens in Bad Santa, and it's just in the redemption of that movie of the character Willie in Bad Santa. He's actually kind of a jerk at first, but he develops feelings and for this particular kid, and he's like, you know what? I'm gonna give this kid a good Christmas, whether it kills me or not. And he gets that Christmas spirit, and he's a fall down drunk like Henry Corwin, but it's that magic of Christmas that makes it so good.
Yeah, you wonder if that's like a nowadays version of what we saw, like a more relatable to audiences and what people want.
No doubt. No, because a little with a little bit of snark to it, almost impertinent.
Yeah, yeah. I went with a couple of them, Doc. I went with that one. Obviously, I knew we were going to do Bad Santa, so that was like number one on my list. That makes sense. I did do The Way Back. We mentioned Ben Affleck before, the one he did a few years ago, and if you watch it, it's one of those like you kind of feel bad for him, and you realize why he's a drunk, but he's not a bad guy. And
oh yeah, is that where he's the coach?
Yeah. Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
Obviously, like the Fred Clauses of the world, the Santa Clauses of the world. Not a big fan of those, quite honestly.
Right.
Santa Claus movies, but the one guy's not the greatest guy in the world. He ends up being Santa Claus. That's what this happened, because you got to realize at this time there wasn't. I don't believe, and I could be wrong, Doc. You know more better than me. There wasn't a movie where somebody takes Santa's role. There's been hundreds since.
That's a great question. I
can't think of one off the top of my head.
Not off the top of my head.
Let us know in the comments below. We're probably wrong.
We are wrong.
Or a play. But no, I don't think it was that popular as it is now.
No. Again, the visionary that Rod Serling was.
Yeah, so I was going to say, so think of that. Rod Serling probably never had that before. The magic suit, or like you become the new Santa. It wasn't guaranteed, it wasn't that prevalent like it is now, where that's the easy route. Like you find the suit and you got it, like whatever it is.
No, it's just that so far ahead thinking. So you're right. Any of those ones that you mentioned could give homage. The Fred Clauses, all the kind of D-level Christmas movies where that happens. The Tim Allen one, but yeah.
I do want to say, while we're talking about time, as time periods, I did write a note that if you listen to the kid, doesn't he say his front name?
Oh, he does, but that's also a hell of a funny line. Percival, Percival Smithers. When he sits on Santa's lap. Well, what do you want for Christmas, Percival? A new front name.
Yes.
Yeah, I don't know if it was a mistake or if the kid was supposed to have a lisp or something, but it is annoying.
But maybe did they say that? Anybody out there, did they say front name instead of first name?
It sure as hell sounds like it.
But then the mother says, I'll never trade in this place again. Like, I'm like, what time are we in? I'll never trade. I was like, wait, what is going on? I just think it's funny when we see language. It's so far off of ours, Yeah. I just wanted to bring that up because I thought
but thank you for bringing it up, because I actually had that note myself for a completely different reason, because I thought it was just a funny one-liner.
Yeah, did he screw up? Like, I want to know. Like, somebody tell us in the comments below. I'm going to look it up later. See, did they say front name? He said front name. I had to like rewind it and go, did he just say?
No, he did. He did.
I never heard that before. No. I got the trading part. I'll never trade in your store again or whatever. I understood that.
Yeah, that was it, in the I did not like the whole walking off with the kid like with his arms folded. Like That's one part I did not like. And then once we get into our scores, yeah, that particular scene brought my score down a little bit.
Yeah, that was a pretty bad
But
one. And the opening scene with the bartender, which I just, of course, it's always looking back, being like, we had 6 drinks and a sandwich. You owe me $380. I'm like,
how about that?
$380?
How about that? Yeah. And just the most derelict bar. I do love that though. Just the most derelict bar. With the bartender was gonna like beat him up with the bat or something. It was awesome.
Yeah, it was going to break his arms up to his shoulders because he tried to grab the booze from him. What a great shot, too. I mean, it's so obvious. It's so in frame, but that's
mirror
what I had to work with. It was beautiful.
We talk about mirrors all the time, and there was a mirror right there at the bar as well.
Looking in the mirror. Sunday shopping, the last one, too. Everything. Always a mirror
Yeah.
what they're looking at. Well, you have anything else to add, Doc?
Not on that front. And this is chock full of excellent scenes and excellent dialogue. I hope we don't have the same one like we did in a previous episode.
I think this will be our most repeating one is like our scene or the monologue, because I'm sure everybody probably agrees with it.
Sure.
Usually,
Yeah, what do you have here, Buck?
The best scene in the whole show.
I wrote the drunk. I'm looking at my notes right now, being like, what did I write? I wrote the drunk monologue about Christmas at the beginning.
God, you really?
No, I took yours again. It's fantastic. That actually
that scene made it for him. That scene again, waterworks for me.
Yep.
The do you know why I drink scene?
The what scene?
Are you talking about the do you know why I drink Mr. Dundee scene?
Yeah, after getting fired.
Yeah.
That's what my note.
Let me just again the dialogue. I'm going to read it to you here, Buck, because
you got that monologue. We should do it at some point. We should just reenact it at some point. We should try to do the monologue.
Perfect.
Wouldn't do it justice, I'm sure. But
no. I think you could be Henry. I'd be a good Mr. Dundee. I already got the tie.
I got the hat.
This you've got the hat. Let's do it. But this is
alcohol on my breath, probably.
The Rod Serling put his heart and soul into this, and this is what he says to Mr. Dundee. Do you know another reason why I drink Mr. Dundee? So then I walk down the tenements. I can really think it's the North Pole, and the children are elves, and then I'm really Santa Claus, bringing a bag of wondrous gifts for all of them. I just wish, Mr. Dundee, on one Christmas, only one Christmas, that I could see some of the hopeless ones and the dreamless ones. Just on one Christmas, Mr. Dundee, I'd like to see the meek inherit the earth. And that's why I drink, Mr. Dundee. And that's why I weep.
Yes.
I mean, it's beautiful.
Yeah, no, it is. And that's, I don't know how anybody, when we say we have the same parts, I mean, that is, once again, that's my best actor in season 2. That might be the best monologue in
the whole series.
Absolutely. And I don't think that's saying it lightly in a sense of there's great monologues, but somebody tell me a better Christmas monologue, a more real Christmas monologue.
A more real, because everybody's going to have their personal favorite. Somebody's going to say that the Fonzie at Christmas is their favorite, and good for them. That's great.
Yeah, but a more real, like serious. Yeah, you asked me why I drink. That's why it's that moment of being like that guy. That's like, so you want to know about this? This is why. This is what I am. This is.
It's like when crap gets real.
Yeah. He's not proud that he drinks. He's got a reason that he drinks.
But he knows. He knows, and that's this is a great episode, and another one where the woodwork comes out.
Yeah, that's a tough one, with especially, everybody either themselves or knows somebody that's battled some sort of addiction, or
Sure.
that are good people. That are good people. Not doesn't mean you're a bad person.
Just get stuck in that circle that hey, it's never going to get better,
Yeah, that
and
self-medicating mess that they're in, and
it's
then
not good.
yeah, and this is a guy who's doing it. This is a guy who, and I think the saddest thing, more than people denying it, is when they realize it for other people around, because you're just looking at them like, yeah, I don't want to be this way.
No,
I don't want to be this way, but life has made me this way. And what do you do about life? I mean, so it's a tough one. It's a tough one. So anybody out there, if you are struggling with that, know there is help out there, and you'll be better off without it. I'll just say that as my public service announcement, but I'm being serious too.
no,
During this holiday season, it's something that
accurate.
people do go through, and it's
a tough time of year. It's a
It
tough
is.
time of year, and it's that the whole melancholy that we talk about a lot in this show, this particular episode in the entire show. It's just this wanting to go back and feeling it's almost like bad good feelings. But yeah, this Christmas is not a good happy time of year for a lot of people, unfortunately.
Yeah, no, it's not. No, it's not. And yeah, like I said, it's you just realize it and watch this and think about it. Like there's a guy who's,
and you're not alone.
Yeah, and you know what? You're self-medicating, but it's really truly deep down never gonna like get you to that end goal. But we all get it. We all get it. We're not judging.
And,
We're not judging.
Your buddy Doc has been down some dark avenues, and Buck was there. So Buck was there for me, and we digress a lot, but it is a serious topic, and we joke around frequently, of course, but this is just a feel good episode.
It really is. It really is. Look at it like that. Look at it like that. You might know somebody like that, or you might be like that, or anything like that, and it gives you a little hope. And it's to me a very realistic, as much as finding a bag full of goodies. Probably not going to happen to you. I'm just telling you right
No,
now.
no.
Yeah, that's probably not gonna happen.
How much do you think that port is that Dundee asked for? Like, how much do you think
Was it
it would
like
be worth in
1841 or something? Like,
no, it's like 1918 or something.
Yeah, yeah, that's what I mean. It was like the reserve, the special one, 18. Here you go. Like, it is. Yeah, exactly. Ironically,
it's what I love about. There's no one ever in a lot of this Twilight Zones, especially this one, nobody ever questions it. Like there may be a second of hesitation. Granted, like it's a 30-minute or however many minutes with commercials, 24 minutes, but it's just like, okay, well, let's roll with it. I'm Santa Claus. But it works. It works.
Yeah, it's almost like they're like looking David Blaine in Vegas. Like you're just like, they are more a street magician. They get more of a reaction out of in these Twilights.
Yeah, but it works. It works so well.
It does. It's almost like
you're on that other dimension. You're in the other dimension that we all are in.
Yes. Yeah, they're not in our dimensions. Stuff like this happens probably a lot. Not a lot, but enough that they believe it pretty quickly. You're right. He's like, oh my gosh, you just pulled that. I'd be like, wait, hold on. Well, do we have a blonde in there with big boobs? Is there any in the back? No. Damn it. We'll cut that part. Sorry.
The scene that he does, the one that I referenced where he just kind of like opens up his eyes really big, and that's his realization, and that's enough. And that's why you don't need to be spoon-fed. Like we see, well, I don't see, because I still think that Newhart's on the air. But we don't see that in today's dialogue or today's shows. Rod Serling felt confident enough in his viewer that they knew what the hell was going on.
Yes, and we talked about in the first episode where he had a little bit be in their face, and now this is season 2,
right?
But you're only on season 2, and you've evolved to be like, I know my audience, and my audience knows me. We're good now.
Yep.
And it's funny, and keep that in mind for everybody watching. As you watch the evolution of that, think of that, how they all get a little more intricate and not explaining, leaving it up to the people and you, the viewers.
Because now the viewer knows what the Twilight Zone is.
Exactly. Where
Or
they
do we?
don't- very in your face at first. It's
Yeah.
very. We got to explain a little bit, but we're gonna let you just go on the next one, and you got to figure it out on your own. Yeah, it's like
Well,
raising a child.
We talked about a lot of stuff, and we have praised this episode up and down.
Yes.
Let's see where you put this on your rankings, Buck.
Well, who are you to judge me?
This is hard because obviously it's a Christmas episode, so I'm going to give it a bonus point no matter what, because it's the first Christmas episode. Acting wise, like I said, I am very impressed, more impressed watching it this time than ever. I don't know. Maybe I'm just evolving as a person or thinking about more as an actor. I have no idea, but I have to give this a solid 8.5. I was going back and forth with 8 and 9, so I'm going to go 8.5. I think 8.5. Those kid actors really did it for me a little bit. There's some throwaway scenes, even in the beginning, the bartenders, but that's why it's not a 10. But I'm going 8.5 because without Santa, he makes it, and they all do. Once again, actors are great.
Yeah. I'm giving you know me and children actors. The Percival Smithers scene was not a fan of. And you're right. Some of the scenes at the bar could have been shrunk a little bit more. But all of the acting, even the bit parts, the guy who played Bert was excellent. And actually his name is Bert Muslin in life. So not much of a stretch for them to be called Bert, but the smoking jacket guy, I'm giving this an 8. And just, the children actors, just somewhat made it distracting to me. It took away from the excellent script and the excellent acting. So for once, I'm going a little bit lower than you.
Yeah, listen, dialogue alone, that monologue alone, this might have been a 6.5 without it. I'm telling you right now.
No doubt. Yeah. Exactly. And
that's a big part. That's a big part of a show. Let's face it. If it wasn't for the writing, it would be bad. No kidding. Thanks, buddy. Well, there we go.
But there's writing, and then there's Rod Serling writing. I mean, you're putting you know what I'm talking about.
Just a wordsmith, like simple. I don't know. It's simple too. It's just simple. It's
that's why I drink, and that's why I weep. I mean,
you don't need anything more. Like, it's just
and how he delivered that line was perfect.
Oh, he delivered it like he was really that guy. I mean, which you're supposed to do, but I mean, you really were just like, no, I'm telling you a point of fact. This is it. Like, that's why I drink, and that's why I weep. Like, same. Like, what a good actor.
I do like the comedic element with the cop and Dundee, though. Like when they're drinking and they go back to Dundee's apartment. That was it. It gave it a little bit of a goofiness, which I kind of liked. Like we get back to, did you see what I just saw? Clear as day. It was chlorine up there.
Yeah, they had corn up there by the yeah. I mean, it was good. That's why I wanted Ken Marino, because I thought he was kind of funny. The cop.
Yeah.
Well,
that's our first Christmas episode.
Yeah. Well, to everybody out there from the Triple Clowns Network, Merry Christmas, everybody, and we'll see you.
Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays.
Happy holidays, all that other good stuff.
Tuning in, if you can do us a favor and hit the button that says like and subscribe, it would really appreciate it. And put your thoughts down. Who do you think would be a better Dundee than myself or Buck has? what's your favorite scene? Want to start just a lot of dialogue amongst all of us.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's make a community here. Let's celebrate it. And yeah, let's get to hit that notification button too, by the way, because we're not on a great schedule right now. We're trying to figure it out. So be notified because we might pop up with episodes that we have a few in the bank right now, Doc, as we're taping this. And we're going to be popping them out. We're going to get on a schedule pretty soon. But till then, hit that notifications after you hit that like and subscribe, because then you'll know when we come out with a new one.
I don't even know.
Neither do I, and I put them out. Who knows? Merry Christmas, everybody. Happy holidays. All that other good stuff. We'll see you later, everybody.
Give me the ball, Augie. Give me the ball. Bad dog.